What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we have an awesome review for you. But first, like, subscribe, ding the bell, comment down below. And thanks for watching.
Yeah, pretty cool. So we're on a bit of a tour kick.
Yeah.
We're on a tour of tour.
Tour of tour. I like that.
Yes. Well, anytime an American company comes out, they're going to gather our attention, and they're coming out with some folder action. Not without a little bit of controversy out there. It's interesting, some of the feedback we've received. It's not been our experience. And this is not a sponsored video. Not that we wouldn't be open to that, but it's not. This is a straightforward, what comes out of the box, type of a review. And so we're going to review the Chasm today. And the Chasm is an interesting little EDC knife. And it comes in the, typical tour presentation, which is high level.
Right.
For an all titanium knife,
The little sticker.
with great finish work, little frame lock, an interesting blade shape with that awesome recurve. And, some of you are going to like it, some of you aren't. The kind of clip point recurve design, but I like it because it's unique.
It's very interesting, though. You mentioned there was some controversy, and apparently there's been some finish issues with Toor, but we haven't seen that. Now we've bought 2 Toor folders. We've handled the Merchant. Now I've got the Chasm, and both are fantastic.
Yeah, I can't really say that that there are any flaws, and quite frankly, for the price, it's $200, guys. It's a $200. How many? Yeah, 2 3/4 inch blade. So right there at that kind of EDC range.
I think that's a great EDC blade.
Non-intimidating. The handle's actually a little larger, so it's a little bit outside of kind of that golden ratio.
I think it's the same handle that the Merchant had.
And I don't know. You don't have it with you, do you?
I don't.
Okay.
But it looks about the same. I mean, I've handled it a bunch.
It's very similar, and it fits your hand really well, but it has this scalpel precision, and that wave is way more cutting surface, with sort of its design. But yeah, let's jump right in.
Yeah, so Ergos.
Ergos. Excellent Ergos. It's interesting with that long, low pocket clip does not create a hot spot.
Yeah, it falls right in that fold in your hand.
It's really good.
Which is really nice.
Once again, like in the last review, the jimping is actual jimping. You do this and your thumb stops on it. Right?
Thumb studs, how are those?
Thumb studs, they are machined and dished just like the previous.
Yep.
And the finish is excellent, but Ergos on this are going to be pretty daggum good. I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10 for me. This is a very ergonomic knife. I dig the design. And it's reminiscent of those Hinderer, maybe Chris Reeve. It's that American titanium frame lock ergonomic design.
Yeah. I have to say it's pretty high up there. I mean, very similar to the Merchant, of course. I'm going to go 9 out of 10.
Cool.
I mean, there's no real way to spin it other than 9 out of 10. I mean, that kind of rising handle, I guess you could call it. I'm sure there's a better name for it, but with that deep choil there, the jimping, the lack of hot spot.
All the design forces your hand to go in a particular direction.
Yeah.
And every knife does that, or it doesn't do that, right? Either it forces a direction or it doesn't force anything. And the nice thing is that they really thought about the Ergos for it to fit. So the interesting thing is you've got 2 kind of lanyard options, and I really chose
the Merchant doesn't have the hole there.
Yeah, I mean, some people might prefer that. I don't. I prefer going off the standoff.
Yeah.
And so that's what I chose to do. And, big shout out to ZC Metalworks. You guys have got to check them out. This bead is fantastic. I just love dressing up my knives, and they have so many options for cord that you can find something
cord and finishes.
Yeah, I mean everything. Like I chose the bead blasted because I knew that it'd be closer to kind of the finish of the hardware, and it just complements the brassy anodized hardware really well.
Yeah, it really does.
So one of the things I'll say about Ergos that isn't so hot is the no jimping on the frame lock.
Yeah, the merchant doesn't
I
have
miss
that
the
either.
frame lock because it's small. I miss the opening a little bit sometimes when I go. I'm sorry, the closing and the opening of the frame. I kind of slip
No,
off a
I
little
got that a
bit.
little bit. Did you see me close it just a minute ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I noticed it, and it was like but it's not sticky like a med.
Right.
Like a Medford, you got to break that sucker in. Some of them.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's part of the Medford life. It's actually an honor to kind of be one of those guys that can break into Medford and not complain and whine and cry like that little baby meme, and go through that process. But it's also nice to have something that's well finished.
It's great to see this blade finish as opposed to the
That's
black.
a nice stone wash.
It is.
Like
Yeah.
it's a quality stone wash. It's not a cheesy stone wash like most people.
And it gives you a
use.
better eye of their logo
Yeah, it does.
and how that looks, and they really do a great job stamping that in there.
Yeah.
So this takes us into tactical.
Tactical, yeah. So not a tactical knife. It is too short. It's not really a stabby. This is an EDC blade.
No, but you could slash something pretty.
You
pretty
could
solidly.
You could. I'm probably gonna go with just the small size of it. It's probably gonna be like a 5 out of 10 for me on tactical. It's slick. The surface is a little slick. I mean, it's not like polished slick, but it's not as textured as the Merchant. I did notice that the Merchant has some more texture to it. It almost feels like aluminum, but it's not. It actually is titanium, which you can see in the weight of the thing. And let's see, we're looking at 3.5.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so 3.5 ounces for a titanium frame lock is really good, right?
Yeah, and that's a great EDC blade. So obviously, it's interesting because most great EDC blades don't do well tactically.
Because their belly, and they're not pointy.
Right. So I'm gonna go.
Unless you're an Emerson, where you can.
Right.
We'll review your knife one day and talk about how tactical and EDC can kind of come to one place.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
5 out of 10 for this guy. I mean, that recurve there. I mean, if you really had to, you really could slice into something pretty solidly. But it is a small size. It is a little slick. Greg hit all the points. So I mean, you're not going to be carrying this for a tactical purpose. But that's okay because this makes a really great secondary knife.
Yes. Or a primary EDC.
Right.
And this is a great primary EDC.
Well,
knife.
that's funny. That's a funny thing there. See, I said a secondary knife because my primary is always my tactical first because that's your life.
And there's the philosophy, right? And as far as an EDC knife is concerned, this does not leave much. And I've got to say the edge was nice. It actually passed. I do take a piece of paper and just fold it in half and drop the knife. That's the sharpness test, right? And it came sharp enough to pass that test. It dropped right through, and so it came sharp right out of the box. And it kind of is reminiscent. It's a slightly mirror polished, kind of reminiscent of a Microtech. Not quite, but similar. But the EDC on this is going to be probably, it's a little small for me, so I'm going to give it like a 9 out of 10 just because of its size. But I'm going to rate it pretty doggone high because it is a purpose-built EDC. Anytime you have belly, this can do a lot of things. It can puncture fine without breaking the tip. It has belly enough to rock into food or other product, and then it actually has this deep recurve, so when you get into a pull cut, it'll pull right through and it sucks it in like a kukri.
Yeah, that's a great score. I don't mind a small knife, so I'm going to go 10 out of 10. Yeah, because just everything about this knife is really great and very well thought out, and I know that some people don't agree with that. And unfortunately, some people had some, not great experiences, and I probably would feel the same if I had the same experience. But for this knife, and for the purpose that we would use it for, being an everyday carry type of knife, you can't beat it. It's not super big. It's not super heavy. It's going to give you still room in your pocket to add something else.
And it's flawless execution out of the box.
Yeah, it really is.
No break-in required. And one little detail, it doesn't use ball bearings, and I am really glad about that. Can we get away from ball bearings? And let's be frank, ball bearings gunk up and stuff, and require they get grimy and weird
Right.
feeling. Phosphorus bronze bearings, or not bearings, but bushings, what they do is they sort of self lubricate by creating
Like a slurry.
a fine slurry on themselves.
Well,
And
let's explain what a slurry is, because somebody watching might not know what that is. A slurry is kind of think of it like a microscopic ball bearing, sort of.
yeah, that's a good point. It's a microscopic layer. Anybody who's into sharpening with stone knows that you have your slurry stone and your main stone, and you get some water on there, and you work it back and forth until you create a slurry. And what that does is it creates fine particles, and those fine particles skate along each other really, really well. Will it ever be as smooth as a ball bearing? No, but it'll never get worse. It always works, and I like that. I don't need it to be a ball bearing knife. And quite frankly, on the close, a ball bearing knife
It'll fall closed.
will fall closed on your hand. It will.
Yeah.
Some of our cool Chinese knives that I enjoy, they're all ball bearing. You know, it's a thing, but they close so easy that they do fall.
Right.
Right. If you had any weight to the blade, it would be uncomfortable.
That's so weird. Like none of my Protex fall closed. But because they're automatic, they don't fall closed. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but it was dumb. Yes, exactly. None of your neither do any of my Microtex.
Well, the Malibu, if you have Malibu.
No, actually, you know, the Microtech, the SOCOM folder probably would fall closed. That's the easiest moving blade.
That's
but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
Whole nother level. All right. Next.
Cool.
Cool factor. Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool knife for me. You know, when you talk about the blade finish, it's for it not being a dark stone wash. Like the dark stone wash is where it's at.
Yeah, like an apocalyptic.
Knife. Well, maybe, but I'm talking about like the acid etch dark.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want that acid etched.
Cool,
that would be fire. Can you imagine an acid etched, like gunmetal gray, dark gray, and dark gray with the anodized and the reddish maroon kind of? This is kind of a clay red, right?
Yeah.
Orangey red, not maroony red, orangey red. Right?
I kind of like that though because it's different.
Too. It is different, and that's why I chose it. Right? How cool is it? Yeah, probably a 7 out of 10. It's not uber flashy. It's not an extremely high end knife. It's a couple $100.
That's interesting. 7 out of 10. I'd probably go 9 out of 10. But I just really like the knife. I like everything that they've done with it. But I'm also looking at it from the perspective of, okay, you just got this knife. It's a brand new knife. You've never seen it before, but pictures and watching the clip point on YouTube. And
you making a play for my knife, boy?
Huh?
You making a play for my knife?
But you
all
get
your
it.
ratings beating me.
You get it in this box, right? And then this box opens up, like beyond like a ProTech, right? Like how often do you get a box that presents it like a piece of jewelry?
Yeah.
Magnetic. You open it up, it's a shiny box with silver on there. It's got their little Toor Knives cloth and their sticker. They've won me already.
Look, Toor Knives is not being greedy. We'll just call it out for what it is.
They're not.
They're not. When you think about it, all titanium, and that's also a titanium pocket clip.
That's called ruby is the finish on
ruby.
that.
Cool. When you talk about all titanium, that includes a pocket clip. Like that, even the pocket clip is a lightweight titanium pocket clip, and it saves quarter ounces. And they are not. They're not being greedy. This is a $200 knife with execution of knives charged $500.
Right, and keep in mind, guys. I know we said it in our last tour video, but every single piece of hardware on this knife is made at their facility in San Diego, California, and they recycle their steel as well to cycle it back through. And they're one of the few that do that, which is really cool. So it's completely made in the USA.
And today, that's an important factor because knife steel is hard to get. So it's kind of a self-sustaining thing. It's not a bad idea. Yeah.
So that leaves us to overall.
Yeah, overall 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 is great. Yeah.
It's a really good number. So for our rating system, 7 out of 10 is sort of a very good knife for us.
Right.
Because the merchant knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
The merchant is the one to get. But if you want something smaller than the merchant, if you want more of an EDC, American made, all titanium, This is the way to go.
And with this being an EDC blade, it's still very nice. You could carry this if you're dressed up in a high level type area.
Technically, this is a budget
Yeah,
American made EDC knife.
For what it is.
Technically, it's for a titanium frame lock. This is a budget. $200 is a budget knife for American
But
made.
that's what's crazy. It's budget for the price point, but not budget for the quality.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You're actually bringing superior to other brand quality with our experience so far. I don't know. I don't have any complaints.
I don't either. And they just do a great job with it.
Yeah.
So guys, check out our other tour review of the Merchant. Give us your thoughts on what you think about the Chasm, the Merchant. They're both really cool. Obviously, we think highly of them. We're not sponsored. We purchased these knives. These are our knives. We bought them.
What do you think about the blade shape? I really want to hear people think about that.
I
think
blade
that's
shape.
Controversial, right?
I like it.
I did not at first, and it grew on me.
Now, a lot of people are going to be indifferent because it takes some skill to sharpen a blade like that.
It does. That is tough to do.
Now, what is the steel? Is that S35?
We'll have to do the thing. I think this is 154.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
Even still, 154 is a great steel.
It is a great steel.
And guys, all Toor knives come with a lifetime warranty, so that's another thing to keep in mind with that price point.
Oh, that's another great point.
Yeah.
On a folder?
So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. We certainly appreciate it. We appreciate all your support.
Always.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, see you on the next one. Stay sharp.
Stay sharp.